the greeting. There you go. It's sunny for the first day for a while. Quite nice, eh? Beautiful. Point Reyes is nice out there.
Sun, finally, yeah.
Lots of sun out there today.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
lots of rain.
You know,
Oh, we've had a lot of
I
rain.
already asked you about it. Elevate acres? She's a writer and artist. She lives on La Mesa.
So
Reyes.
Natalie, you're in a play, in the play, in the play, in the play, in the play, ad infinitum.
Yes.
You're going to a play in a play.
The show's tomorrow at 3. So,
Show is always going on.
yes.
Yeah.
The actor's always on.
Yeah.
You don't have small room. She doesn't have to go out for the studio, you know? But the time she knows it's going to be 3D or something.
You need any water or anything? Water? Oh, yeah, all right, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first door after that turn in. Can you get out of there? Yeah. And that there's the Berkey thing on the, that's a water filter thing. Oh, we have some surprise guests. Great. Yes. I had a figure, I have a feeling I should put chairs up, but who knows? Chris is probably, maybe he's not showing up.
This chair has a.
Yeah, these is a lot of people have had a lot of, people around. I try to put some of the ours in the driveway so you can get a parking space. Gary Clark, nice to see you, Gary. Thank you for everyone's generous donations to the lavish lifestyle I have become accustomed to. Yes.
Welcome.
It's lavish in so many ways. Yeah.
Well, teacher, take research. We learn.
Today I think I'll just the funny thing is I've lost the scriptures of zenbitslap.com.
Oh, no.
Never to be found. I don't know actually how it happens. So basically the emperor has no clothes. No, and I'm not going to use the Course of Miracles. So, but I'm going to go on how I'm going to just present it in a certain way, how it came about in where I was sitting. And so I remember when people would be like in a retreat at this place called, we used to call it's a place out here called Spirit Rock. We used to call it the upper middle way because it's very comfortable, very comfortable. And they'd have like 3 gourmet meals a day and stuff. You don't want it. They had eagle claw bathtubs. It's pretty good, better than where I lived. So I was there and I was involved in it wasn't like, it was an ongoing retreat, so you could come in almost at any time. Some people had been there already for a week or two, and then other people would come after you. And how they had it set up was you just talk to somebody in the morning. You like whatever, a teacher, yes, and then you're on your own basically, and you wanted to fill up the day with like typically 13 hours of meditation. Either you can make it 7 moving, walking, and 6 sitting, yeah, and then basically they'd ring a bell and then you'd come for food, yeah, And so, and it has these hills, and so people were looking like vertical cows. They were grazing, moving very slowly. And I was there about 11, 12 days at this point. And the bell rang at 6 o'clock for dinner. Now, I had been there for 11 dinners already. And I was really close to where they had the dinner. Others were out in the hills a little farther. And when you know, there's no running meditation, there's walking meditation. So then things, it has to be very slow. So I was the first one in. So I came into where they had the food, and right there they had ice cream, first time. And so my mind immediately went off a little bit. Should I get the ice cream right now and then get the food later? With the hopes that if I get the food first, the ice cream may be gone. And so then I sat there and I watched people walk in. Now they've been practicing diligently, very earnest. They look as spiritual as you could look, loving gazes ablaze. And they walk in and then they look and they see the ice cream. And their internal peace just went out. Like you could see it going out the ears. And they were just like me. They started walking a little faster. So, and there it went. So the controlled environment for all these days to get you to, and it's sort of like fragile, oh, see, it's somebody like Chinese glass, yeah, your spiritual condition, where you would think it would be an all-terrain vehicle, so to speak. Yes. So I saw the people's faces just go off, and it was sort of like it just erased all the the hard work because the head just went just like that. And then the idea of the mindfulness, uh, something will happen that's before your practice of mindfulness. So let's say you hit your knee on something, you'll go, oh, fuck, and then you're mindful of it after. That's very, very revealing. Yeah. So when you practice mindfulness, there's a whole lot of stuff before the practice. Yeah. That's not the starting point. Other stuff's going on. And then there's like a laying of a practice on top of that called mindfulness, which sounds weird because if all there is big M mind, how can you be mindful? As an act, you would be mindful as a nature. Yeah. Yeah. It just makes sense. And if you only know how to be mindful as an act and you don't know the nature, the bigger dilemma is the mistaking identity in a sense. Yeah. Who the hell is being mindful and of what? Yeah. So these years doing this stuff and whatever, going through whatever you go through. And I remember there was a book called by Trungpa Rinpoche called Cutting Through Spiritual Materialism. And very, very good book, but the first page was the most important. And he used the word ego, which I'm not a big fan of, but he said, first things I've got to warn you is the ego is going to take advantage of everything that you bring it into contact with, meaning reading this book is going to be claimed, yeah, uh, claimed as the reader of the book, which the book is about the reader of the book, the false reader of the book. So the reader of the book is going to be reading about the false reader of the book. It's sort of, yeah. So that sort of caught my attention. Yeah. And then here's some other characters going. So I caught my attention. And then, when you're here, things can download. And then it was obvious that there was an activity that goes on before I start, really, which is the claiming of, let's call it conscious contact. Yeah. So conscious contact are the how this whole thing gets ignited is consciousness making contact through seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, and then going over stuff. Yes. Seeing little, much more subtle things like thoughts. Yeah. So there's the seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, triggered by conscious contact. But once that's triggered, something happens. The mental state arises very quickly and claims the contact. It uses the contact to prove something that it can't stand, that which it wants to prove can't stand on its own legs. There is no you. So it claims the contact and claims the verbing to imply there's a noun. Yeah. And now you can see it how we think, where there, if there's an act, we're looking around who was the actor. Yeah. It's very difficult in the mental logic. It's near impossible for the mental logic, to not touch a doing and putting a doer in it. Yeah. It gets very uncomfortable sitting there where there's just doing. No, there must be a doer. It's either me or you or God or something. Something's doing it. Yes. And it's anytime you speak about it, it triggers that. Yeah. Yeah. So conscious contact, there's a lot of doing, there's a lot of hearing, there's a lot of feeling, there's a lot of tasting, there's a lot of touching. And all of that touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, doing is claimed to imply that there's a doer, a thinker, a feeler, a taster, a toucher. Yeah. So the act of living is used to reinforce the idea that there's someone that's doing it. Yeah. Yeah. And I do not believe the consciousness of this action figure can get before that. Yeah. I do not believe you as this can be conscious of that. I believe you are an afterthought. The you that you may think is an original, all there is, absoluteness isn't. Yeah. It's the action figure. It's like the doll and the little voice box are connected. The voice box just didn't land on this doll, and when the doll's going to end, it's going to take off. No, it's of the doll. Yeah. So all of Paul, as I know it, is of this, of the manufacturing of this idea of the long-lasting, independent, separate entity. I humbly believe that. I'm convinced of that. So none of this is ever going to get out of this. Yeah. But there is a way out, which is you're not in it. Yeah. Everyone has tried so many outdoors. I mean, literally. Yes. But very rarely do they entertain, are they in it? Yeah. And this happened with me with this event when I had given up the idea of meditation retreats, but I thought like an emotional retreat would be good because I seem to be crippled in a lot of emotional situations. Yes. Coming out of addiction, basically you have a thing that you would rather not confront, which is you're incapable of having a viable relationship with another thing. Yes. Yeah. Uh, you'd like to avoid that basically in one's head. Yeah. So then I did this retreat. It was run by Osho people in Byron Bay, Australia. And they had an ability to induce cathartic events quite good. Yeah. So we'd have 3 rings of people. There was like 40 people doing it. And we would be in groups talking in the morning. And then there would be all these people that didn't say a word on the like the periphery of the building inside. It was really cool. That got me very, I'll talk about that later. And then at the end of the morning, yeah, and everyone's sharing, you know what I mean? You'd be there saying, I shouldn't say this, but fuck it, you say it. The whole group would get ignited, you know, and it was just, but then they would clear it out and they would put all these mattresses and they had a DJ and he'd start playing music and people would just start going off. crying, going into cathartic events. It was just insane. It was almost right on cue. You'd be going, I'm not gonna, and then you'd be going, you know what I mean? I'm not, you'd just be going. So we did this for 8 days, 6 days. I think the sixth day, seventh day, I was sitting there and I was crying and I was going, in like a trance. I can never get back. Like I believed for completely that I had left the Godhead. Like I made a big boo-boo, split the Godhead, and now I can never get back. Yes. Oops, I shouldn't have left that building. I can't get in anymore. And so every way the head could think of, which is a very limited thinking. I mean, seriously, the thinking is quite myopic. The only way it could think is I must have had done something to find myself separated from the Godhead. Yes? Da, 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 da. Went on and on. And these people have the people that were running were watching to see where people's conditions were, and they saw this as a great condition. So they grabbed me and they took me out of it. I'm going, I can never get back. I'm moaning. It's like the loneliness of the spiritual seeker, like the loneliness of the whatever you call it, the runner. It's the real loneliness of the spiritual seeker. Can never get back and blah blah blah. Blah. And then a couple of days later, because I had been introduced to non-duality, which didn't go well in that group. That didn't go well. So a couple of days later, I finally got the answer. I could never go back. Yes, I never left. Blew my mind completely. It blew up a mechanism. If you want it like the magic trance like dream machine, this was one of the main functions of this dream machine. Yeah, is that I did something to find myself where I am. Yes. Yet I hadn't gone anywhere. It was such a great relief. I said, so the reason why I can never get back, and the head only had a number of reasons, but it usually centered on me doing something or not doing something. Yes, it was basically all about me, even when it was about the Godhead. Yeah, which is always the case, literally. So it went over everywhere, I can, can't, but in fact, it misses this completely that you can never get back because you've never left. You have never left that which you are. Never, never. Yeah, it was fundamentally a giant exclamation point, and it whacked the system, really did. It just really, because so much was built on this idea that I must have done something. The whole Course of Miracles is based on that idea of guilt. Yeah, that there's a guilt that you did something, you left the Godhead or something like that. And it's so unbearable. We've made this dream to make worse people than us so we could feel better about ourselves. So you could go, listen, I'm really terrible, but man, I'm not as terrible as that person. So it's like it's a way of trying to dump the guilt. Yes. But to dump the guilt is a guilt already. Yeah. So on having never left, there's no move you make after that. There's no strategy after that. There's none. You've been checkmated. The head has been checkmated completely by life. It's just the queen came, you checkmate. Yeah. You can't get out of anything because you've never been in anything. Yeah. Sort of like that. So that whacked me really good. And I just kept rolling around. But what I was really cool about that group is I signed up to be of service there because I really dug the space of the people not saying anything. By their just being there and not getting involved, it was a huge thing. And I believe that's sort of a way of living in a way. You're here, but you're not completely involved all the time. Yes, other things are more important. Yes, da, 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 da. Yeah, so I went there for 2 years, and then I felt I got enough of what I want, was looking for. I kept going. So I humbly believe in time that this act of claiming beats anything else. Yeah, humbly, because the idea of you is not before this. This thing happens before you. So you're at a disadvantage because you're already after it when you notice you and your position in the world. You're already looking from it there. Yeah. So what's one's to do? If this head is the quickest movement in time, and it's claiming whatever's going on to imply it's about you, this long-lasting, independent, separate entity, and then it is producing, let's say, a discomfort or irritation or a desire for something else, and then you start seeking for that, yeah? And all the processes that come after are infected with the first process. So the idea of you travels with all your attempted solutions to get relief from that you. The you is always included in all of the plans to get relief. But the relief we want is from that you, not as that you. And recovery has a great statement out of our community, and it describes this exactly. Doesn't go into the detail, but it says self can't get out of self. Yeah. And how I saw it was when this started hitting me when I was younger, it brought me to a point, and it says there's no point to go off on all these things, because if you don't see this, you're looking from it. If you don't see the manufacturing of you in time, you're looking from it. I don't give a damn how great you're looking while you're looking from it, but you're looking from it. And the greatness of how you look, I lost a lot of interest in it because I still saw it, you're looking from it. So I don't care how great you look, holding whatever, your breath for whatever. I don't care, because this, you can't get out of this as it. Yeah. So the desire to transcend is part of being in it. It's not part of getting out of it. You're part of being in it. What is always transcendental does no interest in transcending. Yeah. That which is isn't trying to become what is. Yeah. It's everything else is trying to be something else. Yeah. So I watched it. So the process kicks in, it's you, and then all the processes that come after it have this infection. Yeah. Now they're meant to sort of sanitize and clean the wound, but they actually irritate the wound more. And Ramana Maharshi says it beautifully. I believe humbly. This is how I saw it, where he says one of his big statements that are in all his teachings, because his teachings were one, but a lot of people heard him. And a lot of the people wrote about his teachings. And when you see a number of the writings of his teachings, there's always certain statements are in all of them. And this is one of them. And there is a presupposing, and I would say that's the mental reaction to conscious contact. Yeah. There's a presupposing of a non-existent thing being an existent thing. Yeah. And now that existent thing has enough this or that happens that it wants to get salvation for itself. Yeah, because it's feeling not it, but something's bothering it, and it would like to get salvation as the existent thing. So the non-existent thing is presupposed to be an existent thing. So how does that happen? Well, existence, just like water comes through the hose, but the hose does not own the water. I mean, the hose is just a conduit. Yeah. The water and hose have nothing actually to do with themselves. Yeah. Yes, the water doesn't become a hose no matter how much it runs through the hose. And the hose really never gets wet unless the water is coming through. Yeah. when you stop the water and you cut the hose, it's not wet after a while. Yeah, its nature is not to absorb wetness. It allows so it can conduct the wetness. So this action figure is like a hose, and the existence is living through it. But the head sees this as the hose is that which is existing. And that head isn't going to change that idea because it's programming. It's not AI. The head is not growing in awareness. It has a programmed idea that the Course in Miracles catches, which is the brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. That's that. Yeah. So the brain that's taking everything in and collating it and emphasizing stuff. Obviously, people think there's just light. The light gets in and then a movie's made. Well, that one who's cutting, editing and doing the cutting of that movie has a bias. Yeah. It wants it to always be about its little made up creation of the long lasting, independent, separate entity. Relying on that to leave itself is freaking incredibly ridiculous. It can't. When it imagines its absence, it wants to be there to experience it. It doesn't get it. Yeah. So realizing that and realizing that he says, all right, so presupposing of this non-existent thing being the existent thing. Now that existent thing wants to get salvation, then you're at that, if that's the case, which it is, your spiritual practices are reinforcing the mistake. How can they destroy it, really? Yeah, this is what you stop running, you put the shoe on of non-duality and see what happens. It usually, for me, the statements that were found in non-duality definitely described exactly what I was observing, but not knowing. Yeah. But I was observing while it was going on, but I was not knowing what was going on. Then the non-duality understanding gave me a knowledge of what was going on, which allowed me to feel the knowing that was underneath it. Yeah. So perhaps there's a better way. Exactly. So I saw the futility of trying to get out of what I'm not in. Yeah. And I don't think it's a unique individual situation. I feel it's common. Yeah. You and I cannot get out of what we're not in. It's impossible. Yeah. You cannot return to where you never left. So if you are desiring and working really hard to return, your head is using it for another purpose. Yeah, it's using it to reinforce this strange idea that you have left. If you're mistaken about the leaving, the returns aren't going to work, obviously. You're just going to keep returning to the same place again. Yeah. I found the most amazing thing. Then everything's there for a week or two, and then you're on to another amazing thing. Yes, it goes on. And the spiritual seeking becomes a form of addiction. Yeah. It doesn't have the flamboyance of drug addiction and shit, or the bleakness, let's say, of alcoholic addiction, but it has an addictive nature. And now the seeking is being claimed to reinforce the seeker. And this is the beauty of it. When the seeking stops, you'll see the seeker as the emperor with no clothes. There is no seeker without seeking. Hallelujah, literally. So when you hit a point where forget about it, yeah, usually it starts with someone realizes they don't need to go on a retreat. Some people realize that when they're on a retreat. Well-paid money, well-valued money. Yeah, you can learn, but you do things and then you learn, hey, I don't have to do that anymore. Basically, because why? The things fail. And that's actually their success. Yeah. We're meant to do things so to realize that we don't need to do things. When you try to jump from a doer and say, I don't need to do anything, it's It doesn't look, it's tinny usually. But if you have tried to do things and and then you finally realize after blaming you and the teacher or the one who, hiccup when you are right there in the meditation hall, I was almost, you know, yeah, when you realize it's failed. Yeah, not because you failed or you didn't have enough or didn't do enough or you weren't enough. No, you've never left the place you're trying to arrive at. Yeah, so all the plans of arrival are there really to fail. And that's the beauty of non-duality. Not you look at what you've been doing with that pair of glasses and it immediately it highlights the failing. And instead of beating your head with it's your hallelujah, really. You realize I can't become what I already am. Yeah. I can only see what I'm not. And this is the beauty of non-duality. So now there's an awareness that's seeing it's seeing what you used to look from. Yeah. And there's still a you looking from there. You see it. Yeah. But all the attention and interest that would forget everything else and completely emphasize the you that was looking from it, that interest and attention has moved off of it. And now it is allowing you to see where you used to look from. Yes, clear as day. And there you are, looking straight ahead, trying to figure it out. Not never. It's like the fish never getting it's in water. It's just insane. It's insane. So this brought me to an end and concerning a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff I did never brought me to an end. Never. It was always more this, more that. There's not why do you need 11 dimensions or 14 dimensions? Yeah. Because the head it can't stop. It's just on and on and on. So I remember when it started dawning on me, I never saw it. People would call me, "Hey, are you going to see this person coming?" I said, "Oh, I think I'm going to miss it," and then miss it. And I just stopped doing shit completely. And what happened was what I had a hunch about proved to be, at least here, very true. Yeah. My looking for it is the blindness of it. Yeah. I'm blind of it because I'm looking for it. Yeah. When you give up the search, you may be in the find. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why we're here. A spiritual corporation hasn't gotten in touch with me and bought me out for $1 million and now has me. And after you listen to this, we have a 6-month program that's going to be hyper speed. So you're not even going to rocket yourself into another dimension. You're going to supersonically rock yourself. That will be about $800 a month. If you don't pay, the fuel isn't given. You don't take off, you're still stuck here. No. So we've been sharing this. Basically I can share with no prep because this is how I saw it. It's simple. It's not like I have to make up a story. This is what happened. I got moved by the first book I read, Who Cares? Went to see Ramesh Balsekar, got bitch slapped there, mostly by a guy that was not the main speaker, this guy Murti. He was, to me, wide awake. And then went back to Australia and did service at that thing twice, just sitting there, getting a feel of what it's really like just to be present and not your voice being heard or anything else, just present. And that was more than enough. I thought that was really cool. And then I saw a couple of people. Some people I liked, some people I didn't. And then a lot of stuff stopped in satsang. I would just be sitting in satsang and I knew I was never going to ask another question. Just sat there. And then I knew that this was the last answer. Yeah. I mean, the search was over and just basically, like Ramana says, be still. Uh, and the one of the ways to be still is to recognize whatever isn't still isn't you. Yeah. This isn't about, this isn't a recognition and then with subtle doing. There's no doing in it. It's a recognition, and then your pants are down, you don't put any clothes on as the emperor, and see what happens. Yeah. Yeah. So the last answer in this case for me would be its value is it takes away the need for any other answer. Yeah, you're really now, you're answer free, so to speak. You're just here in Nirvana or Point Reyes or wherever you are. Yeah. And but that interest and attention freed from this preoccupation will really enrich your day. Your color book will have more Crayolas than you imagine. Yes, it will. And you just and that which was just the the launching pad of agitation and shit like that, you may be completely okay being here. Yeah, which was amazing for me. Wasn't like that for since since I was young. I was constantly trying to get out of here, and realizing you're not in here is the way to stay here, really. Yeah. If you look at this place logically, I would think it would be a wise idea to have a desire to split. Yeah, I mean, shit. If you can have your own little world in your little gated community, but if you step out like Buddha, remember the story of Buddha? He was a prince in this thing, and he never left, and he got everything, and never saw anything. He's having a fucking great time, but he was a little inquisitive, wondering, and then he asked one of the servants to sneak him out of the tent, out of the whatever where he lived, and they did, and he just saw life, regular life, and he was like fucking whacked. What? All this suffering's going on, and I'm just sitting in this other little idyllic little space. So, yeah. So, yeah. So again, I think it's very specific what they're talking about when he says the non-existent thing, and then he goes immediately to your spiritual practices. It's a very targeted message. Yeah, it's really talking about spiritual seeking gone awry. And I remember when supposedly Ramana came in and he says, nothing's going to work other than either surrender or self-inquiry. He said basically all the other stuff is reinforcing this thing. So then he just got emphasized self-inquiry. Yeah. So, and in that, you get the two aspects of self, the subject object aspect, because we're in a dualistic event. Yeah. The dreaming is of a dualistic nature. So, and usually the subject and object are never seen in the same room. It's either you're being thought about or you're the thinker. But self-inquiry is like the one aspect asks the other aspect, who are you? And then you recognize both are not you. So it negates the one who's asking the question and the one who seems to answer the question. You're neither of them. So the self-inquiry gets the two things in the same room at the same time and whack. Yeah. And then you see your original face, which isn't a face. Yeah. You just, yeah. And then you realize, wow, this is exactly how I felt a second before. Exactly. Nothing came in. It's never left. You were just busy watching the two hand puppets, you as an object, you as a subject, do Punch and Judy all day. Yeah. And then when it's stilled and they got negated, Punch and Judy, there it was. The space of the of the stage and everything else. Hasn't changed one bit. Like everything we've ever done has been in water. Like we have been a fish forever, as an example. And in this water that we're constantly soaked in, you and I can believe we're dry. And we start seeking to get wet, all the while being completely wet. Just the way it goes. So there's really no difference. We're in what we're of and not recognizing it. We're recognizing the in as the of, which it ain't. We're recognizing this as the of. This is not reality. Yeah. So we're recognizing the in from the in. The recognition of the in is really from the of. The of is the context that gives a very clear understanding about the content. But the content can't have a clear understanding of the context. The content cannot get the context. It can only think of the context in a contented way. It just doesn't work. So this is okay. Negation is the way. You like that guy Uji Krishnamurti? He says negation is the way. Yeah, all these, yes, they basically say this is it. When it's all said and done, you got to see what you're not. Yeah. Because if you don't, you'll be looking from it. That's just the way it goes. I haven't moved ever since when this hit me. Like when it told me, do not go past this. Don't go into your little mental mind candy trips with the 15 dimensions and the opaqueness being translucent or whatever. Just fucking dog shit awareness. Yeah. You are going to be looking from this manufactured point unless you see it. If you're not aware of it, you're looking from it. And in that looking from it, you may be trying to become aware. And do you want to try to change that? Because the looking from it and you are in the same, it's two peas in the same pod. Yeah. Yeah. You're not, this is not a retrieval. I'm going to get my authentic you out of that. There's no authentic you. There's no authentic you in the what's looking. You see it. You see that where you used to look from. That's none of that is you. Nothing needed to get retrieved or anything like that. This, God, we are not of thingness, not of thing where there's a spot where skin defines us and then there's whatever and another thing there. Yes? This is dreaming. I think this is a one-off, really. I don't think they're going to have 800,000 dreamings just based on this one. I think it's a one-off. It runs. When you leave, it's as if nothing ever happened. I had it yesterday, Thursday. Yeah, I'm sitting here. I have a commitment, usually Thursday morning, 10:30, to do a Zoom in recovery. Never forget. I do it for years now. Yes. And I'm speaking to Amelia and her brother, completely oblivious that I have a meeting. It's not like I could forget it. It didn't exist. Yes. It's not like it didn't exist. I had no evidence ever that there was a meeting at 10:30. Then Kerry calls me at 10:35 and says, hey, there's a meeting today. And then it became, oh, okay, meeting. But before that call, there was no existence of any meeting. I got trying to get over how completely absent it was that there was a meeting, there gonna be a meeting, that there had been meetings. No. Came to, okay, got, the puppeteer's hand went into the puppet. Happens when you sleep at night. Everyone has that bonus deep sleep, and you're completely nothing of any of this. There's no entrails, there's no sign of this ever being so. You're completely oblivious to it. I mean, completely, not even if there's a speck of it in, no, it's just like nothing. For that, that can only happen with nothing. Yeah. Something that seemed to appear and then doesn't exist in no time at all means it's an appearance. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Whatever. Glory be to the holidays and Kerry. Yeah. We have sun out. It's so nice here. The dog is happy. Look at her sleeping. See, look at that. She got the message a long time ago. Look at that, be still. Try it. I'd like to see you do better than that. Can you imagine if you heard the statement be still as an action figure? It would sound like an order. Okay. Yes, wasn't wouldn't that be the reaction if what heard that statement was the hearer, it would be an order. You feel like you've escaped in spirituality from the orders of the world, but now how you have the orders of the spirit. You have to be in no thought. You gotta stop cherishing your opinions. Wow. No judgment. The hell, that's the whole day of the action figure. The only way the action figure sees anything is to see it, compare it to something else it sees. It can't do it. So the beautiful bit about this message, nothing has to change. You're just not that. That thinks something has to change. Yeah. Every time it shows up, you just pull the rug out from underneath it. That's all. Once it starts proclaiming, I've got to vow this, got to cut down on the cherishing the opinions, just pull the fucking rug. It's the clown. It's the clown show. And now the joke is on it, not on you, which is nice. Yeah. Yeah. So uh I just see it says here I was co-host. Did I feel like I was co-host? No. It says reclaim host. Okay. What could ever give any meaning to claiming host is that I was the co-host. My ambition is to be the host. I have to reclaim it because some one of you MFs took it. Yes. It's the head. I didn't know I was the co-host. So I had no desire to be the host. It starts small, but it ends big in this very small little event. Oh, I'm the co-host? Why am I not the host? But if you're nothing, nothing can grow in there. It's nice. Yes. Anything that appears to grow has no root system. The wind of awareness can knock it down. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Doesn't look like any hands, Paul. If you do have a question for Paul, raise your virtual hand. We'll invite you in.
Well, we'll have a 13-minute goodbye session. Yeah.
Nice.
These are going to be very heartfelt goodbyes because I feel like many of us have been together for quite a while. Cherish our relationship. Gary Clark and Vlad. Vlad, I met in London a long time ago. It's been a very nice gift in this life. Susan Harris. Uh, I really love watching John in Florida, watch him coming when I first met him and everything. It's a true testimonial, I feel. Richard Ascott, had one of the strangest roommates. You never saw the guy, but he's been there for 15 years. Pretty good. Richard was a great host, and with his wife, Etta. I wouldn't ask him to pick you up at the airport, though. Could be trouble. I was outside the airport and I watched them go by like 3 times. God, please. I'm tired. Yeah. We have Allie. What a sweetheart. Of course, don't let any of this go to your head. Just Allie's a sweetheart. Matthew is a brother in arms with sobriety, very happy. They were sober on the same day. Kerry also. Annette, I got you a lovely thing. I'm going to give that to Amelia. That yeah. David Lowe. It's been very nice to watch David Lowe. Yeah. That sphincter muscle was tight. Yeah, needed a lot of yeah. Keith G. Keith G is yeah. He's riding on the with the jet fuel. Good. Judy Love, yes, Judy Love. She's found the greatest hair conditioner is being still. Look at that. That's just 2 hair waterfalls. Kerry, my man, Kerry is a trickster in the tradition of the word. I remember he tricked Amelia to buy jewelry and from some guy in Sicily when I warned him, and then it wasn't Sicily, it was Puglia. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a good move, Kerry. I liked it. I like that aspect. Malcolm, I've known Malcolm from the Zooms for a while. He comes in sort of like maybe every quarter of the year, flies through little comet. Yes. Hamish, nice to see Hamish. Nice to see you. He's been coming and going for years. I'm happy you dropped in today. Stephen R. He's into the way of life of recovery. An incredible way of life for the action figure. Seriously. Nothing else. No human power could do it. But some power did it quite easily through and extended the miracle through the way of life of recovery. Yeah. It was not a tortuous night of the soul. I just got whacked sober. I had too many nights and days but the end of that compulsion was sudden. It wasn't drawn out. I didn't even have time to think. It just whacked me, and then it told me 2 things. You're fucked and you're not managerial quality in such a loving way, basically. And I've been sober for going on 37 years, March. Yeah. So one little slap from that, the momentum has gone for 37 years. Can you imagine what you could be dealing with here? You can't. Yeah. Yeah. But if the head is playing God and that's being allowed, and it's really an allowance, uh, that God is a God of very, very limited possibility. Yes, it's more sounds like the God of the Old Testament. Very jealous, very fucking, yeah, kill your newborn son, bring him over. Then he's never happy. Yeah. And I don't believe we're made in God's image. I believe we made a God in our image. Yeah. Like if you don't do something, you're going to be punished. Give me a fucking break. You're not even a thing. How are you going to be whipped? You can't whip. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. All right. I don't want to get in trouble if I keep going on. All right. Hey, any question? If not, we'll we'll bid a fond farewell.
Hey, Paul, Hamish had his hand up.
All right, Hamish, come on
Hang
in.
on, Hamish.
That's a threat.
Uh,
Everyone's. Yeah.
Hi,
Got
Paul.
you.
Sorry, I'm half trying to let the dog out. See, oh, here she comes. Come on, chicken. Yeah. Sorry. I was. Yeah. The heads, the action figure. The head's been listening. I don't know if anything else has been listening. It's been accepting that there's been a lot of spiritual materialism. I guess you'd call it. It's been a lot of failing. I'm like, yeah. There's failing everywhere. And it's going. Yeah, I mean, the other day I tried to book myself on another retreat, and actually that it didn't work because I failed to operate Google Pay or whatever it's called. So that it didn't happen. So there's a chance to actually say, "Oh, I don't need a retreat," you know. Um,
Yes.
so it's like that's there, and it's like this. I'm wondering if for maybe for some action figures, a sort of a leap of faith is required somewhere in between and I just like the head's hearing that it's never that the existent thing is never left. So the non-existent thing is hearing that the existent thing has never left and not denying it. The non-existent thing is still busy. The non-existent thing has claimed various moments over the years where it's been fucking clear that that the non-existent thing is non-existent. But then the non-existent thing has claimed it again, and I'm just like, for fuck's sake, just like, I'm just wondering if I think you said it at some point, you were. It sounded like you said maybe you had a hunch that you didn't need to go and see the next spiritual guru or whatever. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just wondering whether maybe there's a hunch there in this place, but I need a sort of I need a leap of faith. I need to just go, okay, let's let go.
No, you don't really. The leap of faith is the faith in the head. That's a huge fucking leap. Yeah. This is
Mm,
a simple little gesture. And because it's true, it will reveal that to you quickly. Yeah. You don't need a leap of faith. We're the effect of a mental leap of faith. Yeah. That
mm,
which we are doesn't demand a leap. All it means is a consent. Yes. Just nod a little. Yes.
mm.
Yeah. And the first thing I would do is send a message of thanks to Google
Yeah.
for
Okay.
not allowing you to go on the retreat. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm serious. And the thing is, this the head that is agitated, it's not going to be the same head trying not to be agitated. You'll just see both aspects of it as not you. And a lot of times what brings us to that point is this agitation. So it's probably working. It just hasn't brought you to one of the end points, so to speak. Yes? But it's
Mm,
the process of doing it. And Google just helped. And there you
mm,
go. You got some momentum in it. You wanted to do something and you didn't, it wouldn't let you. Fantastic. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. This isn't about there's a battle of the two Hamishes, and then the Hamish pins the one Hamish, only to be a fear of the second and third fight. No, the whole fight and the ring isn't you. The whole thing. And it's so there because you're in it, like the fish. It's so there. And because the head wants it to be so here, it makes the so there not obvious. Yeah. And it's gonna crack. Something will slip through and it'll be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I'm serious. I watch it all the time with people. I watch
Mm.
people come here, very serious seekers. Now they start laughing about things. Their physical facial structure changes. There's a relief. Something lifts off of them without them pushing it. It just lifts off. Yes. I know uh, this is a bearer of relief. I have great faith in the message. The point is, the head can't be still. So it's constantly agitated. And then usually we just break and go with it. And now we feel like we're out of the moment or that that seeming real or you ain't real. It's just it's dancing with its own shadow. Yes, go the whole stage, everything is fake. Yeah. This is not a message to those two characters in the play. The characters in the play are only characters in the play. They are not what wakes up. Yeah. That which wakes up is always awake right now. There's just a loss of interest, not in one of them, but in both of them. This is non-duality. It's not non-one, and you figured it's the one that's bothered. It's non-duality. So the fake object and the shadow of the fake object are both not you. Most of us are taking the shadow as the reality and critiquing the object. Yeah, neither of them are us. And so you're not here to convince any of them. You're here to hear about them, and maybe in a sense you're not that. So that see, here's the let's say the camera has been locked and it's really following subject object of Paul. Yes. And it's
Yep.
missing a lot of the other stuff. And then you get an idea, maybe I'm not that. And then suddenly the camera opens up and goes back. Yeah. And more gets revealed. That's all. You're not seeing more. There's not, you don't have more seeing, you just see more now. So the field has opened up and you see what you used to look from. It's that simple. And you were looking from both of those movements. Yeah. Second, you felt like you were being thought about. And this next second, you were the thinker of those thoughts. Yes. You were playing this thing. You're not going to, the helicopter isn't coming in and you're gonna save one of them and leave the other. The helicopter, the best thing, crashes and you realize, yes, yeah. I don't know how to define it, but you'll feel it when the interest field gets bigger, and it's not like glued to one of the two. Yeah. So if it's glued to one of the two, when it opens up, it'll be only one-sided. Yes. And if that doesn't work because it's glued now to the other, it loosens up from the both. Yeah. And then you see both clearly as not you. People see clearly one aspect is not them. Now the objectified idea is self, but they believe the subject talking about it is them. That's not you either. This is a not two. It's not a not one. It's not two, non-duality. Yeah. So the duality where we're sitting, there's two aspects of it playing on each other. Like a slinky, that it's one movement makes the other movement. We want to cut the slinky and have this and get rid of the bad slinky. It's of, yes. So once you see that it's not two, the loss of interest, I feel, will be sufficient enough to allow you to travel lighter in this event. And really, in this event, what more do you want? Yeah. You're not going to transcend it as it. You're not, give up those things. They're not happening. You can't get out of what you're not in. It's impossible. So, but what can happen is this event that disappears every second of the moment into this gets lighter. And it's clear that you did nothing to produce the lightness. You're not a master of lightness. Somehow there's been a loss of interest in that demanded I have to lose interest. You got lost interest in it all. And you travel lighter. So what was, I never want to live in Novato. You're completely in Novato. Yeah. Not by any effort. The effort has stopped because here I am. And I'm here because I'm not. That which is appearing here is not me. You are not that which is appearing here. It is truly your absolute absence of this is your absolute presence. The absolute absence of this is the absolute presence, as a guy named Wei Wu Wei would say. Yeah. It's not like I'm leaving this and merging. It's not happening. Yeah. So the great mercy on this is not to be you. You'll travel a whole lot lighter. Yeah. Less demands, you know. Yeah. So the result will be seen here. You can't see the result in awareness. What? Oh, there's awareness. Oh, there's me. See, I'm more aware. I'm that little spot. I'm more, no. Oh, there's no signs of effect anywhere but here. And the effect to me is a traveling lighter for this action figure. Yeah. There you go. With bad knees or good knees, with this or that, with being in a relationship, not being in a relationship. Whatever happens, what happens is not the determining factor. It's the condition that you're in allows you to travel lighter through the conditions that are going to happen. Yes, that's it. And as a gift, what more do you want? It's like the greatest gift of all, traveling lighter. When you can, in a subjective experience, you can be in a fucking hell. With the trappings of what you would see as a material heaven, you can be in a fucking hell right there. Yeah. So the gift of traveling lighter is the greatest boon to the action figure because it couldn't produce it. It can't produce it. Yeah, it can't. Yeah. That which it needs here in the in comes from the of. Yeah. You can't buy this. You can't. You can't buy it. You can't build a fence around it. You can't own it. You can't portion it out. It's nothing like that. It's just an ability to take yourself less seriously. Fucking hallelujah. Everyone else is. Do you, do you, people you see today, let's say you think you feel terrible. You look just like the St. Paul they've seen for years. They're not reviewing you with a fucking magnifying glass. Yes? Their interest attention is more self-centered. Yes?
Hmm.
Nobody's paying as much attention to you as you. No fucking body. Nothing. They're not going over shit. Nothing. Well, this is you're never going to get it. Hallelujah. Why? Because am I ever going to return? No. Can you explain why? Is it because I didn't do enough? No, no, because you never left. What? You never left. How about that? I feel like I've left. Yes, I know you feel like that you left. You're not that which feels like it's left. So don't try to become a that feels like it didn't leave. Yeah. Get the message. That which feels like it's left it's only going to play a charade as that which is getting its never left. No, they're both the shadow and the object, the mental object, and the shadow it casts. They're both not you. It's a simple message. Yes, you travel lighter. Yeah. All right. Oh, Heather raised a hand. Okay, Heather.
Come on in, Heather.
You
That's a new book. Heather raised
okay.
a hand.
Um, thank you for this wonderful ignition conversation. I have been looking at the side of the duality that gets triggered and hooked, and I've been thinking, oh, I'll be the universe in the face of that. And I realize each of those from today's talk, I realize each of those are not me. So my question is that higher power or force that has kept you sober for 37 years, is that also on one side of those?
Is it on one side?
Is it one side of the dualities too? It's
Oh,
not.
no. I think it's a wind that blows in duality, but it's not of duality. But it's a definite wind that blows in reality. In duality, I mean. Yes. But I don't believe it's of duality. I
Is it
believe
me or not?
this is of duality. Yes.
So would I negate it? Would I say that's me, or would I say it's not
If
me?
it you, no, I wouldn't negate it. And who would be negating it anyway? No,
Hmm.
no. It's a wind blowing like grace. Yes. You know, Ramana Maharshi said, from what I got, I'm not a scholar, but I do remember that he would say, you know, there's a point where you put the ball down, so to speak, and then grace does the rest. So you get to the point of the futility of trying to get out of what you're not in, and then that's as far as you can go on a comprehensive level. You put the ball down, and then grace takes care of the rest. Yes? Or this wind of what I imply. I use the terminology of recovery, yeah, of a higher power. Yes.
So even if I declare I'm going to allow grace, that declaration is still in duality. Even allowing grace is still part of the game, right?
Sounds like you're the one keeping it away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now you're going to declare it can come in. That's duality. Yes.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah. It has always, it has a movement and then there's a counter movement. It always does that. So and the point of this is, uh, like in Zen, they would say, stop cherishing your opinions. You don't need to look at for the truth, just stop cherishing your opinions. Now, I see that as an order, and I would just say you're not that which is cherishing the opinions. Yeah. So I would take that statement and not go that way it implies. I would take a step out of it by saying I'm not the one who's cherishing the opinions. It's a much easier, softer way to go. Yeah, because once you try to stop cherishing opinions, you're a one trying to do that. Yeah. So the message sometimes triggers that one. I think this step back neuters or negates. Yeah. So I don't try to stop cherishing opinions. I just see I'm not that which is cherishing opinions. Just works for me. Yeah. When I used to read Zen, it would be subtle orders there that I wasn't able to fulfill. It was more subtle than stop that, don't eat that piece of cake or something. It was like you need no thought, stop cherishing your opinions, no judgments. I mean, give me a break. This whole thing is built on opinions and judgments and thoughts. So I would say non-duality doesn't go in that way. It just steps back farther into you're not that, yeah, that is cherishing the thoughts, and you're not that which has to stop cherishing the thoughts. Yes, it just worked. It was sort of like a baby, and then it was being carried around, and then was left on this porch. That's exactly what it was like. I was a baby. Something wanted to bring me to a point. Finally, it figured, oh, this is a good place. Put it down on the porch, and I haven't moved since. Seriously. So I don't believe they're spiritual orders or any different than material orders. Yeah. So do this, don't do this. I don't want to go there. Yes. It just feeds the opposite. Yes. Have you seen people who try to be good? They usually have giant explosions of perversion in their life. They're trying to be so good, it's just going to leak out somewhere. And probably bad. Yeah. This way, everyone's dirty here. You just walk. Uh, instead of do no harm, how about do less harm? Just go to go for the small thing. Do less harm. Yeah. It's going to be easier for you. Doing harm has a lot of weight with it. You know what I mean? Once you do harm, there's a lot of shit comes. I'd much rather skirt any heavy lifting. Yeah. So this ended pretty well, I guess. Yeah. Anyone else? No? You all right, Heather? Yeah.
Doesn't look
No,
like it,
the
Paul.
negation isn't an act, really. It's a way of seeing. You don't need to say, I'm not that. If it helps for a while, but don't get into the habit of it, because that turns into a process. Don't, yeah. Just see, all you need to do is entertain you're not that. And to me, it's true. So it doesn't take much reinforcement. You really, it's sort of like how many times you said something that you wanted to be true but wasn't, but this time you said something that's true and it is true. So the saying of it gets dismissed quickly. And because it's actually true. Like the three lemons appeared and you got the jackpot. Do what? Yeah. You hit the jackpot. The non-existent thing that's appearing to be an existent thing has not left the state of being a non-existent thing. Have you, when you say Uncle Jim left, has his body left? Oh, we're gonna go to the funeral. Uncle Jim left on Monday, and then you go to the wake, and on Tuesday there's his body. Well, he forgot his body. He dumped it on us once again. No, the sense of what we are is felt, but the language of what we're not overrides a lot of stuff. Yeah. So a lot of people believe they know they're not a body. Yeah. But they talk as if they're all the one, but they don't say they're not. I think it would be incredible surprise if you really believed Jim was a body and then you heard he'd left and then you see his body, you would, wow, Jim, they told me you left. No, they immediately realized he wasn't a body. Do you think Jim was a body, and then he's not a body? Where's Jim? He left. Where? There he is. No, Jim left the body. Oh, did he? This is insane. Yeah. So, yes. Yeah. I left. I guarantee you, when I leave, there's going to be a body left behind. So don't get fucking surprised. There's going to be a body. He probably took a piss at the end, maybe. Even number two, I don't know. You may need to clean up, but Paul has left the arena. I don't think Paul had left. I don't think Paul was ever here. I don't. I don't think there's a leaving of Paul. I don't think Paul is ever here. Something that appears disappears. Yeah, that's what happens. Was it ever here? No. It appeared to be here, and now it doesn't appear to be here. Yeah. All right. I'm in a lot of trouble now. I gotta go. Heather. Yes. Stephen R. Always a pleasure. Richard A. Again. didn't know I had a lot of old ideas about London, England, because England was quite beautiful. My first time there, it was raining the whole time. And we gave talks at a pig farm. That was strange. Ali, nice to see you. Thanks for putting up with me. Hamish, donate 1/10 of that money you were gonna pay for the retreat to like a soup kitchen. Yeah. At least somebody will get a sandwich. Yeah. Judy Love, always pleasure. I was starting to miss you, but then now you reappeared. That's great. David Lowe. Yes. Annette. Susan Harris, Vlad, Roman, my main man. We will be at Cafe Fabrizi sooner or later. Yes. We didn't finish the job. Oat milk lattes at 4 p.m. Yeah. Elon, nice to see you, bro. John Adams. We got Arjuna and Patna, Bamal, Jojo, Silverman, nice to see you. Heather, everyone, I can't get to the other page. Thank you so much. Great. Hope you have a very nice day or night. And we'll be back Tuesday. Yeah. So I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. And we're going to be going to Joshua Tree. If you're anywhere near there, January 9th, I think, to the 12th. I think it's up on the website, the address, and you can call Amelia or me if you want and come over. We're going to have a talk for sure the Saturday at 1 and probably another talk. But no, I don't know. Amelia's here, so I don't want to say anything. Maybe later on Sunday when it gets dark. All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Take care,
Paul.
Paul.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Oh.